Hello. There's a discussion on one of the wood turning forums that I frequent on the internet about turning a thimble. And I really didn't have anything to offer on turning a thimble, but it reminded me of a project that I did quite a few years ago. I made quite a few of them at the time. It was a project that I got from, I believe it was Better Homes and Gardens Wood magazine, and I believe the article about turning it's a sewing kit basically. I believe the article was in the August issue of 1994. And I no longer have the magazine, so I am doing this on what I remember of how I did it then. And that was a long time ago, and I'm not 100% sure how well I remember what I did then, but we'll have a go at it and see how it turns out. I have actually, this isn't the first one I've done in the last few days. This is actually the fourth one I've done in the last week or so. The project winds up looking something like this. You can decorate it with burned-in lines or whatever you like. The end cap here becomes a thimble. This one is pretty long and not very tapered, but that's... And then inside there is a spool that you can put different colors of thread on. And then inside there's storage for a couple of needles, so you can, it's just something that you can carry in the glove compartment of the car, or the ladies can carry it in their purse, and if you catch your hem and need to tack it up sometime when you're out and don't have access to a proper sewing setup, it's just an emergency, for emergency repairs basically. So that's what we're going to wind up with. Maybe not quite that long on the ends, but like the three I've done have all been different. Is that since I ground that myself, the spool, or the thimble, has to fit over this tenon, a snug enough fit that it's not going to fall off. When it's rattling around in your glove compartment or purse. You can't get that kind of fit if the hole is tapered. The hole has to be straight-sided, at least in the area that's going to be doing the gripping. You can open up the opening for the out near the bottom here, where the finger's going to go in. But you have to leave, probably 2/3 of that hole straight-sided, or you'll never get a decent fit that will stay on there without falling off. It's like a taper. It's like when you put a Morse taper in your headstock. You put it in and it grips real good, but you move it the very slightest amount and it's free. It's no longer gripping. So anyway, I've got a square of, this happens to be cherry. I'm going to rough it down to round. If you look at the grain match here, it's not all that good, especially color-wise. The reason for that, well, part of the reason for that is you've got such a long tenon here, so you're cutting, the thimble's coming from an inch further down the piece of wood. But the other thing is that the spindle is turned oriented this way, or the thimble is turned oriented this way. So since you're then turning at 180 degrees, there's no way you're going to get a really good grain matchup. The straighter the grain is in the area where you're cutting the thimble, the better the matchup you can get. But you can see this is quite light colored on this side, and this is quite light colored on this side, but it's darker on this side, and that really doesn't match up all that well. This piece, the coloration, I don't have a variation in color from one side to the other. The grain is not, the grain's a little bit angling out here, but it may turn out alright, or it may not match up at all. We'll find out when I get there. So I'm going to go for about 7/8 of an inch diameter as the maximum, the outside diameter of the piece. So I'll just part in to establish my diameter in a couple of spots. That's 7/8 inch diameter arc there, so I'll just part in until this seats down. And then I'll just take it down to a 1/8 or 7/8 inch cylinder at the this I really don't like that oval skew, so I had this 1-inch scraper that I really wasn't using, so I reground it into a 1-inch skew, but it's a rectangular cross section. I did grind off the corners so it will slide easier, but I like it better than that oval one anyway.